Welcome to day 19. Alarmed by something in the present, we grab for a solution without thinking deeply about the context, the root of the problem, that possible consequence that might ensure that because we react instead of thinking. Our actions are based on insufficient information. Invariable in this case, people thinking is remarkable, simple and lazy action. A lead to result be a variation on this is quite common in the modern world is to believe that if people have good intentions, good things should be resolved. If political is an honest means, will he or she will bring about a desired result. In fact, people with the noble intention are often blinded by feelings or self-righteous. Do not consider the complex of malevolent motivations of others. Thinking is a variable plague in the world today is the only growing worse with the speed and ease of the excess information which give the people illusion and they are informed and they have thought deeply about the thing related to this gradually disconnect from history itself as the people tend to view present event as if they were isolated in the term. Any phenomena in the world is by the nature complex and people you deal with are equally complex. Any cautious set of a limit change of a reaction is a simple A lead to B will lead to C to D, and other actors will pull into the dramas and it's hard to predict their motivation and response. You cannot possibly map out that change or get a complete handle consequence, but by making your thinking consequently, you can at least become aware of the more obvious negative consequences that could ensure the self difference between success and disaster. You want depth of a thinking to go severe in imagining permutations as far as mind can go. Often going through this process will convince you of the wisdom of doing nothing or waiting. While this made of thinking importance for individual, it can be even more crucial for a large organization where there is a lot of stake for many people. In any group or team, put a list one person in charge, gaming out of all possible consequences of a strategy of a line or action. Preferably, someone will be skeptical and preferred frame of mind. You can never go too far in this process, and time and money spent will be rewarded. And as you avoid potential catastrophe and develop more solid plans. Tactical help. You find yourself embroiled in the survival struggles or battles. You seem to get nowhere, but you feel like have invested so much time and energy already that it would be tremendous place to give up. You have actually lost the sight of the long-term goals of what you are fighting for. Instead, it's become a question of asserting your ego and providing you are a right. Often we see dynamic in the martial spirit. It's no longer about repairing the relationships, but about the impossible one point of view at time. Caught in these battles, you feel defensive and pretty. Your spirit that drawn into what this is almost at a so sure sign that you have descended into tactical hell. Our mind are design of strategic goal. In tactical hell, you can never raise your perspective high to think in the manner you are perspective high enough to think in the manner you are constantly reacting the move to the person in the dramas and emotion going around in the circles. The only solution is back to temporary or permanent from this battle, particularly if they are carrying servers from units someday detachment or perspective. Get your ego to calm down. Remind yourself that the winning argument, proving your point, really get you nowhere in the long run. Win through your action, not your words. Start to think about your long term. Create a ladder of your value priority in your life. Reminding yourself of what you really matter to you. If you determine that particular battle, it is in fact the greater sense of detachment. You can plot a more strategic response more often than you. Not you will realize that certain battles are not worth it. In the end, they are waste of valuable energy and time which should be high your skills of value. It is always better to walk away from such crucial battle. No matter how deeply you have personally invested your energy and your spirit. Important consider feeling pity and frustrated can have a reverberating consequence. Your ability to think strategically, reach your goals, going through the and process delineated above in the case will naturally elevate your perspective and put your mind into the strategic plan and in life in a war for strategies always prevail other tacticians. Ticker tape fevers. During the run-up in 1929 crash on the Wall Street, many people had become addicted to playing the stock market, and this addiction had a physical component on the side of ticker tape. That electronic register each can in a stock price, hearing that clicking noise indicating something was happening. Somebody was trading and making fortune. Many fell down to the sound itself which felt like heartbeat of a Wall Street, which we no longer have the ticker tape. Instead, many of you be editing my minute by minute news cycle, what trends in a tweet feed, which is accompanied by the thing that has a narcotics effect. We feel like our concern to the very flow itself. It even are connected. They change in a real time to the other people who are following the same instant report. Same instant reports. You can never go back to the slower place or just okay if you feel need more information quickly. Such empathic tend to spill over the other aspect of your our attention span decrease as well as tolerance for any obstacles in our path. We can all recognize sign of this nervous patience in our own life. What we don't recognize distorting effect. But it has a thinking the trends of the moment in business or political embedded in movement such a larger span of a time to reveal the relative weakness and strength of an investment and strategic ideas, sport team or political candles cluttered of a movement, isolate polls or stock weakness. They give us a deceptive impression. What is revealed in the present only become more with the latest new. But to base on any kind of decision on the snapshot of the moment, is it run to risk of misreading the large picture? Furthermore, people tend to react over to any negative or positive change in the present. It become double hard to resist getting caught up in the panic of endless. Here is the antidote to the fever for first and foremost, we must develop patience, which is like muscle that requires training and repetition is more strength. We must make an effort to slow things down, to step back. Wait a day or two before taking some action. Second, when faced with the issue, these are important. We must have a clear sense of long-term goals now. Attend part of involve assessing any relative strength and weakness of the parties involved. Such clarity will allow us to withstand and constant emotional overreaction of those around us. Finally, it is important to have a faith time that it will eventually prove us right to maintain our reserve. Lost in trivia, you feel overwhelmed by the complexity of your work. You feel the need of beyond the top of the details, global trends, so you can control things better. You are drowning information. It is hard to approval for forest for the trees. This is a sure sign that you have lost a sense of priority, which fact are more important. What problem or details require more attention. You tend to make an information without considering your priorities that what really matters in the end. But and the brain has it assimilating too much information lead to mental fatigue, confusing feeling to the help laziness. Everything begins to same equally important scale of priorities and long-term goals. Knowing what you want to accomplish in the end will help you with essentially your non-verbals delegate let subordinate handle the informations. Together, remembering the getting greater control over the event will become the more realistic assessment of the situation. Precisely what is made most difficult brain submerge. Submersion trivia. The far-sighted human. Most of us live in the relative narrow time frame. We generally associate the passage of time with some negative, moving closer to the death. Instinctively, we recall from thinking too deeply about the future and the past. So for this remind of the passage time in relation to the future, we may try to think about our plans a year or two from now. But our thinking more like dreaming or vision deep in analysis related to the past. We have few fond or painful memories from childhood. Yeah, but in generally the past baffles we change so much with it might seem like stranger. We don't really have a concept of who are feeling a connection to between the 5-year-old, 35-year-old or version of yourself not wanting to go far in the farm direction. Mostly within the parents we react to the what we see her, what other are reacting really for immediate pleasure to distract us from the passage time and make us feel more like. But we pay a price for all this repressing the thought of and that are aging create a continual underlining anxiety. We are not uh, coming to the term with reality continually acting event in the present put us a roller coaster ride up. Do we go with a just in the person? This can only anxiety as life pass quickly in the immediate rush of the event. Your task as a student of a human nature, someone aspiring to reach the greatest potential of the human animal is to widen your relationship to the time as much as possible as slow it down. This means you do not see the passage of time as an enemy, but rather great ally. Each stage is in the life advantage. Those of youth are most obvious, but with the age greater perspective, you do not frighten. That is equally your friend. It motivates you, make the most of its moment. It gives you sense of urgency that time is a great teacher and master. This affect you deeply in the present awareness that a year from now is the current problem you are experiencing will hardly seem to important. Will help you lower your anxiety, adjust your priority, know that time will reveal the weakness of your plans. You become more careful deliberately with them. In relation to the future, you think deeply about your long-term goals. We are not very dream about your con- concrete objective and you map out the reach. In relation to the past, you feel a deep sense of connection of your to your child. You are constantly changing, but change are the surface of the creation and illusion of a real change. In fact, your character was set in your earliest year along with the inclination towards a certain activity like your like dislike. As you get older, characters only become more parent feeling organically connected with you who you are, what's your like, dislike, this will help you maintain your life, which is so critical in the resisting deceptive narcissism, in which develop also. You will pay greater attention and mistaken on life within the those who are logged in the present and to like everyone and enjoy repeated passing pleasure. You are not a monk to connect with trends of the moment and to the current flow of life, but you derive even greater pleasure from your reaching your long-term goals and overcoming adversity. This expands relationship to the time will have definite effect on you. It will make you calmer, more realistic, more in the time with the thing that matter. It will also make you pre strategic in life, able to resist it, people inevitable overreaction to what is happening to the present, to see further into the further potential power that we have human have only begun to tap into. Thank you.